right, guys. So I'm only smiling because I'm about to check out my new favorite troll. And I know if y'all don't think he's a troll, look, we all see things differently, right? We see some things differently. We see some things the same. I see this brother as one of the biggest trolls in the world. But he's trying to educate. He's trying to let people know that there's another way of thinking, and what you're hanging your thoughts on and your emotions on is silly. And once you realize that, then we can move forward with we can actually make some ground. You know, we can improve once you get over that silliness. Well, we got a new joint where he is running somebody else up all his platform. Before we check it out, I just want to say thank you everyone who has been purchasing some of our hats. We are up to like 30 hats sold right now. I'm super excited. I am super excited. Thank you so much. For anyone else who's considering purchasing a hat, t-shirt, anything like that from hatsforsale.com, you'll see it in the link below. Make sure you put in LFR 10 for 10% off, and you will receive, just like everyone else, free shipping all across America.
With me today, Pastor Kurt D. Thomas. He's a senior pastor of the Renewed Church of Los Angeles. Am I right?
That is correct.
Renewed Church of Los Angeles. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
I absolutely appreciate it.
Thank you.
And so,
My brother look like he's on defense already. He's not smiling. He doesn't look happy to be there. He says he's happy, but he look like he's ready to fight, bruh.
were you called to be a pastor, or did you go to school for it?
Well, at the age of 9, I felt the presence of God over me. I grew up in a Pentecostal church, so I went through that entire Pentecostal experience. And it wasn't until I matriculated through college that I decided to get a bachelor's degree.
I apologize for smiling so hard. I just know what's coming, man. I don't know what's coming, but I know what's coming. Jesse Lee Peterson is going to be Jesse Lee Peterson, and I cannot wait to see what happens. Okay, let me relax. Relax, man. Relax.
In theology, or to study theology while I was at Stillman College.
Oh, I see. So God didn't call you. You decided to go to school for it.
No. I believe that I was called by God to do what I do.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
And why do you believe that?
Why do I believe that I was called? I know that I'm called to do what I do because because I have a passion and I have a desire to see people elevated from where they are to where they need to be.
Oh, okay. And when you say where they are, do you believe that human beings are in a fallen state?
Explain what you mean by that.
Fallen. You're a pastor. You should know.
Yeah, but what explain?
He's setting them up, right? He's setting them up.
What do you mean by a fallen state?
Do you know? Do you believe that human beings are in a fallen state? You know what fallen means, right?
A fallen state means that they've fallen from the grace of God.
Yes.
Is that what you're? Okay.
Right.
So I believe that that humans have fallen from a fallen state, but with the whole deal with reconciliation, I think that God reconciles us back to himself.
So you do agree then that human beings have fallen away from God, right?
That humans have fallen away from God according to Adam and all that, yes.
And then at some point, those who seek him will come back.
Those who seek him, are that he's called back to them, yes, then they will.
Is it possible to overcome that fallen state?
It is possible to overcome that fallen state if we accept Christ back into our hearts.
Oh, it's about to get good.
How does one know when they're in a fallen state?
Well, a person will know that they're in a fallen state when they don't live a life that's acceptable. I believe that's really acceptable to themselves. So like a person that is a drug addict, or a person that drinks too much liquor, a person that maybe possibly not living their best life, or doing what they're called to do. I think that those people are the people that find themselves in a fallen state.
So when they're not living their life according to God, And they're in a fallen state.
If you're not living a life that is according to the principles of God, yes.
Then you're in a fallen
Then
state.
you're in a fallen state.
So if I read, and I don't know if it's true or not, I like to ask the person before I mention,
Okay.
know if it's true or not. Are you a homosexual?
I am a same gender loving man.
So does that mean you're a homosexual?
It means that I'm a same gender loving man.
But just for
Come on, don't play semantics, brother. Just say it. You already know what's coming, and that's why you're playing on defense right now. You're not trying to say it, but you know exactly what he's saying. That's just talk. That's why I'm smiling so hard, because I already knew it was coming.
I'm black and slow.
Okay.
And just for the record, does that mean you're a homosexual?
He said I'm black and slow. Can you just? He's a troll. I swear to goodness, man. He didn't even wait 5 minutes.
Cool.
I could be considered a homosexual.
Are you considered? I don't want to think of you if you're
Yeah,
not.
I'm a homosexual.
You're a homosexual?
Yes.
And so you're a homosexual pastor?
But I am a homosexual pastor, yes.
How long have you been a homosexual pastor?
I've been a pastor for 8 years, senior pastor, and then before that, prior to that, I was a youth pastor.
Oh, okay. Why do you think that God would call a person, a homosexual, to be a pastor but not change him?
So I don't think that God majors where we minor. And so I think that what happens is I think that we put limitations on God that God doesn't have. For example, we could, if you go to seminary or something like that, you find out that there's a thought process that God could possibly be a woman, or that God could be this, or that God could be that God can be whatever it is that you need him to be.
You believe that he can be a woman?
I believe that God can be whatever it is that you need him to be.
So could he be a homosexual too if you needed him to be one?
Well, honestly, I don't think that God, the Bible says that God is neither male nor female.
Right. So how can he be a woman then if he's not a female?
Well, I'm saying that
Our Father, art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Our Father is neither man nor woman. Our Father is neither male. Okay, I just learned something. See, we just now learned something together.
So there's a book that's by who's the book by? There's a book that is written. It's called what is it called?
Well, that's all right about the title. What about the book?
But in the book, the principles of the book talk about God swaying himself to this, and it's called The Shack by W.M. Paul Young. And so if you read that book, then you find out that God basically finds himself congruent to whatever state of mind a person is in.
So that book is more important than the basic instructions before leaving Earth. Okay.
So at one state, God is a Jewish carpenter. At one state, God shows himself as a big black woman in the kitchen cooking.
Big black woman?
A black woman in the kitchen cooking. And
So
so
you think God could be a big black woman?
I think that God can be whatever it is that you need God to
Really?
be at that moment.
Do you think that God could be a homosexual too?
If God needs to be a homosexual, I think that he was, but I don't liken him to that.
If God needs to be, okay. All right. I'm learning. Look, I'm not judging anybody. I'm learning right along with y'all. If God needs to be a homosexual, then he will be a homosexual. If we need God to be gay, then God will be gay. We need him to be trans. God will be trans. Because God is whatever we want him to be. If we want him to be our pet, he will be our pet. Okay, I'm learning something right now. I'm not judging. I'm learning right along with Jesse Lee Peterson.
I don't liken God to be to be an isolated gender.
So you believe that God could be a woman, a big black woman, a homosexual,
God could be whatever you need God to be.
And so does that person make God what they want him to be in their mind so they can accept being wrong? Or does God switch genders and all that kind of stuff?
I don't think that God, that we create God to be whatever we want God to be in our minds. I think that it's based on experiences. The experiences of that person allows God to transform himself in whatever it is that person needs to be. For an example, if you've ever gone to Africa, or if you've ever gone to a part of the world where there's no westernized religions, to where people they don't have an isolated form of who Jesus is or what he looks like, opposed to what you were talking about earlier.
Right.
We don't know what he looks like, and so since that, God becomes whatever it is that person's experiences.
Those countries that don't believe in God, there are countries and they're all trying to come here now and bring their attitudes.
Also, I want to point out that who was it? Someone went to Africa. It was Matt Walsh. Was it Matt Walsh? It was Matt Walsh when he was doing What Is a Woman? And he went to Africa. He was in a couple of parts of Africa. He was talking to the natives there. And let's just say Western culture teachings are a bit more liberal than those cultures. So to point them out as reference is not supporting his stance at all.
It's an S-H-I-T hole.
Oh, you're saying that they're S-hole countries.
Right, because those people don't believe in God.
I wouldn't say that they don't believe in God. I would say
they don't believe in the real God. They have their own made-up God based on their imagination, right?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that we experience God on the level that we know God. So if you have somebody that is an Indian and they've never had anyone explain to them the ideology of God that is created here in Western culture, then I think that
what is Western culture?
Western culture is where we are now. It's what we operate in a canonized version of the Bible, in which we accept as the authentic truth of who.
But Western culture is the best culture, right?
I wouldn't say that.
Then why everybody trying to come here? If we're not the best, if Western culture is not the best culture, why everybody trying to come to what's not the best culture?
Is everybody trying to come here?
Everybody and their mama. Have you noticed we can't even keep the illegals out?
I wouldn't say that everybody's trying to come here, but I would say that there are people that are trying
from all over the world
to come here from all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if we are not the best country, why are they trying to come here? Why don't they go to the best country?
We could consider ourselves to be the best country,
but we are the best. And that's because of Western culture.
Well, I wouldn't use the word best. Maybe I would use the word, we're probably a country where people are allowed to be free and be themselves.
So we're the best.
If you say best, then I'll go with that.
So I want to go back. You say God is a black woman.
I didn't say God was a black woman. I used the book as an analogy
that God was a black woman,
to show us that God could be whatever it is that we need God to be.
Amazing. Do you believe that book?
Amazing. There you go. As soon as he started dropping amazing, he about to go in.
I believe that God could be whatever it is that we want God to be.
Really?
Yes.
And so you've been a homosexual all your life, you said earlier, right?
At the age of 9, I knew that I liked the same sex. Yes.
How did you become that way?
I didn't become that way. I knew that was my innate nature to like men.
And so how did your nature go from a natural nature of being a man or male to an unnatural nature of becoming a woman? How did that happen?
Here we go. That was it right there. That was it. You can look at this brother's face right here. Look at his face. Oh, you done messed up, Jesse. It's about to be on and popping. Huh?
You said the unnatural nature of me becoming a woman?
Yeah, you were born a natural male, right?
You're born a natural male.
Right, you were, right?
I am a male currently sitting here in front of you.
But how did you go from being a natural male to an unnatural woman?
Who's an unnatural woman?
But isn't homosexuality is like being a female feelings?
No,
What is it?
no.
What is it exactly?
Being gay is, or being gay, being a homosexual, whatever term like that a person wants to
Right.
use to identify themselves. It's an innate state of being. It means that this is who that person is. If I'm not a woman, I'm a man sitting here in front of you having a conversation. I have a penis, just like you have.
Well,
a
you
penis.
do have the male parts, but now they're cutting that off too. Did you hear about that? We'll get to that. But do you feel inwardly? Do you feel like a male or you feel like a female?
I am a male sitting here in front of you.
No, but what do you feel
I
like?
feel
on
like
inside?
a male. And
Inside?
I am a male sitting here in front
I
of you.
realize that, but inside, do you feel like a man or you feel like a woman?
I am a male sitting here in front of you. So that answers your question, right?
No, he's asking you what you feel like, not what you are. He can see a man with a beard sitting in front of you, and you told him you have a penis. I think he believed you, and he don't want to see it. He just want to know what you feel. But he is setting you up, so I understand why you're protected. I understand why you're playing defense right now, because you already know that it's about to go down.
No,
I don't feel like anything because I am a male.
You don't feel like neither male nor woman?
I am a male sitting here in front of you.
I realize that, but what made you think you're a homosexual then? If there's not a
What makes
feeling on
me-
the inside, why do you think you're
Homosexuality is not a feeling; it's a state of being. It's who the person innately is. It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with creating a feeling that you're talking about. It's an innate. It's the innate nature of who that person is. I innately am who I am. Me being gay or homosexual has nothing to do for me with being a man. It has everything to do with my preference and who I choose to sleep with.
What does the word innately mean? What does that mean? I'm black and slow. I don't know what that means.
The word innate. The word innate means that
I'm black
is
and
that
slow.
I'm not changing or I'm not becoming something else. I am who I am.
Just before we started the show, you said that you introduced your. Is he your husband or your wife? Is that your husband? He gonna be your husband or your wife?
I'm going to end this interview.
You already know that. See, what happens is, and this right here is something I want to get across to everyone that's watching this. I don't judge people. If you like men, you like women, you like both men and women, that's your business. That's your business. But when you are a shepherd and you have sheep under you and you are teaching them the word of God how you want to teach them, well, stand on that. When you now have the opportunity to have a conversation with someone that you can teach, because what you do, your whole life is ministry. It is. If you were called to serve God in that way as a shepherd, you are a minister in every situation. You're sitting in front of someone who might be trying to get a rise out of you. Not that type of rise, but trying to get a rise out of you. You mean to tell me that God did not arm you with the ability and the tact and the knowledge to be able to get across to them or get that person on the same wavelength as you without getting yourself upset and emotional about it? You believe something different than him, obviously, because that's where y'all are crossing. Clearly, y'all believe something differently. Educate that person. Use the knowledge that God instilled in you and educate that person. What you're doing right now is you feel ashamed. You feel attacked. You feel more than you're willing to think right now. Because if you turn on that ministry, that power that comes from God, and I know that a power comes from God. Yeah, I'm in my weed shirt. I'm not a perfect individual. That's why I can't judge anybody. Nobody. Give a damn who you like or who you're sleeping with and blah, blah, blah. That's not my business. That's your business. Now, you're on a platform where you can teach the masses in the way that only you know how. All right? Because you have souls under you that you're responsible for as a shepherd. You have someone across from you who's attempting to hold you accountable. Well, that's something that we are supposed to do. We're supposed to hold one another accountable, correct? So take this time to say, you know what? I feel like you're attacking me, and I feel like you don't fully understand where I'm coming from. Let me take a moment to explain to you exactly where I come from so that you can have a better understanding when you leave this conversation, this interview, or whatever you want to call it. Boom, lay it down on him. Lay it down on him. Give him what God has given you to give him. Because this is not going to be the only person that you're in front of that need some answers, need some guidance from you. The way you're thinking is, I'm grown. I ain't got to explain myself to nobody. You're attacking me for being gay? Well, guess what? I'm done with this conversation. I'm out. Well, the flesh has taken over at that point, and God is no longer in control because you don't want to be a light in the darkness. If you're receiving his energy as darkness, you have to address that darkness with light if that's what you're receiving. But as soon as you fall to it and run away with your tail between your legs, how does that make you look and feel? You're not doing a good job at communicating to him what you represent, what you believe. You're not. And yes, your husband is another thing that comes from the Bible, is something that people do when they're in love, right? They get married. But you're changing the game. You have to know that you've changed the game. And you have to know that you are going to be questioned. Because sometimes what we like to do, we like to surround ourselves around only people who will be like, you are good, you are fine, forget them, you are God, know your heart, God love you, and God don't love him, and God don't love her. The people who are judging you, the people who are questioning you, those are the people that God don't love. You have a responsibility to more people than just the people who come to your services. Because the people who come to your services have made up in their mind that what you are and what you represent, they are fine with it. And guess what? Much love to those people. But as soon as you tuck your tail and run away simply because you don't agree with the way that this person is speaking to you, you've lost the battle. You've lost. This is a great opportunity for you to take up for anyone who feel the way that you feel, who think the way that you think, who have gone through and go through the same things you go through. I get it. You want to run. God didn't raise you up to run. He didn't. But you are. That's exactly what you're doing. So let's see what happens and how this transpires. Let's go.
Why?
Because we're ending this right now.
Why you want to end?
We're ending it.
Well,
Take
wait,
this
come
off.
back.
Take this off. When you want to have a real conversation,
I'm
call
having-
me.
I'm-
No, you're me.
Come
and
back.
I'm not gonna.
A pastor. You're not. You're BSing me. And when you want to have a real conversation, when you're not going to judge me as another Christian, because I think that you think you're a better Christian than me. That's how he's saying. You think you're a better Christian than me, and you're not trying to have a conversation. So I'm gone until you fully you agree with my way of life, and you don't question me. I don't want to talk to anybody that's going to question me. I don't want to talk to nobody that's going to question me. Nah, bruh. You're not looking like a man of God right now.
I'm not gonna be a part of that. Come take this off of me, or I'm gonna take it with me.
But why are you running?
Come take this off of me, or I'm gonna take it with me. Please take it off of me.
Really,
'Cause
come take it
you're
off.
disrespecting me.
But no, I'm
So-
asking you really.
Please take it off.
Am
or
I
I'm gonna
asking
take
him
it
real
with
serious
me.
questions?
No, I'm saying, just let them take their recording. They're trying to get a reaction.
It's okay.
Be quiet.
No, that's not what we're
Okay,
doing.
so
Just take it off.
yeah.
But tell me why you're running.
I'm not running, sir, but when you want to have a real conversation,
We'll get to
you
it.
have my
you're really
information.
running.
You
But
can
you
call
said
me.
that you're gonna.
When you want to have a real conversation,
You said
When
that
you
gonna
wanna have
marry
a real
this-
conversation,
You said you're
you
gonna
can call
marry
me.
this guy.
when you want to have, he's a guy. You're calling him a female. You're being disrespectful.
I asked if you gonna call him husband or wife. Come back. Do you want to be interviewed? Oh. Amazing.
Amazing.
Well, they gone.
Amazing.
That's amazing. They gone. They walked away. So the deal is that was Pastor Kurt D. Thomas. And Kurt D. Thomas is a senior pastor of the Renewed Church of Los Angeles. And he is a admitted homosexual pastor. And what he does is he works with men. They host a monthly men's group, they say. So I wanted to know about all that, but just before we started the show, he introduced this other male, a black male, that he said that they're going to get married soon. And I know that these people are doing that, and they're calling it marriage. So I want to just kind of lay out that first. I had no idea that he was going to run, because if they are proud of being what they are, and they say that it's normal, you would think that they would want to talk about it. But
Yep.
apparently not. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but he's gone.
All right, so Pastor Thomas, or whatever his name was, sir, you failed, man. You failed. You had an opportunity, brother. I understand why you got all emotional and everything, but you represent something bigger than that. You ran away because you were not proud of what was being pointed out. You had to go because you knew that you was going to want to fight that man. Amazing. I want to hear what y'all got to say about this in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and hopefully inside the Patreon as well. Y'all have been amazing per usual. Love y'all. Bye.